I mean, the hay you can't use for anything except fertilizer. The grain you can eat, or you can plant. So what do you say? I don't know.
I think we might say something about some problem would sort out the men from the boys.
Oh.
Maybe it's not the same.
That's British. Sort out the men from the boys. You have the same, isn't it? American. You know, the Americans and English have everything in common except the language.
We talk about the wheat and the chaff.
The wheat and the chaff.
The chaff. I think the chaff would be similar
Chaff.
to straw.
So of course you all consider yourself to be the wheat, and not the chaff. Or in other terms, Venerable Mahaprabhu asked his disciples, and he normally mentions that, the question of the Venerable Ananda, when he asked the Lord Buddha how many people are going to hell and how many people are going to heaven. And then the Lord Buddha replied, do you see that bull over there? How many horns does he have? That stands for the people who go to heaven or to Nibbana. And how many hairs does he have on his fur? That stands for the people who go to the hell. So are you the fur or are you the horns? I mean, don't take it too lightly. I don't know how many hairs the bull has on his fur, quite a few millions. No? And he has only 2 horns. And of course every Buddhist believes, that he's the horns. And every Christian believes, he goes to heaven. Every religion believes, everyone who believes in a religion believes that he goes to heaven. And so where are all the people who go to hell? Well, it's up to you, If you have a will, then you can decide where to go. But as I said before, to swim upstream, is much more difficult than to just go with the masses, to go down. When we swim upstream, we go to the soul. When we go downstream, we go to hell. And because everyone around us just goes the way of the stream, goes downstream, that's why we follow. And that's why we think we are secure. Isn't it? We look what the other people are doing and then we feel secure. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. He is doing that. I can do that. It's a false kind of security. To develop good, is against the stream. To be egotistical is, swimming down with the stream. Everybody just wants to improve oneself. I just want to do what I want to do, especially in the West. I want to develop myself. Wonderful. And the women's lip is in there very well as well. It's not that I have anything against the woman's lip, but it shows us, from a Buddhist aspect, from a Buddhist point of view, it shows that it's going the wrong way. We should not develop self. We should get rid of the self. That's the Buddhist aspect of practice. But it's not only the fault of the women, it's also the fault of the men. They do the same thing. Or they have done it a long time. Huh? And the women just want to catch up with it. So both of them are going the wrong way when they want to develop themselves. If they want to develop the goodness inside themselves and want to get rid of the badness or the evil that is within themselves, that is the right way. But who is going to do that? It's so difficult. Everybody wants for oneself. I want my money, I have the right, I have this, I have that. That's what we want. This is my right. Well, the Germans are very famous for that. So we adhere to that. But the blacks in America have the same problem. So they're not really that different. None of us, in the whole world, we all have the same problem. Whatever kind of society we live, we do have the same problems. And if you follow this way, then of course this will lead to dukkha. Because we are attached to our wrong views. We are attached to rightfulness. Or what we think is right. There is something right, whatever leads to what is within the path of the practice, of the Buddhist practice. Whatever is correct view, that there is heaven and hell. Do we really believe in heaven and hell? Do we really believe that? No. We don't want to believe that there is hell. And especially, if we believe that there is hell, certainly we are not going down to hell. Everyone else is going down to hell. Because this person does this wrong, that person does that wrong, and that person over there does this wrong. Huh? That person is going to hell. And we, because we see how bad they all are going to hell. And this is a wonderful perspective, isn't it? We are the one who are wrong. When we see the wrongs in others, it is the wrong in ourselves that we actually do see. The other is just a reminder for us. The world outside, or the people outside, or even the animals outside, are just reminders of what is going on within our own heart. So it's a mirror of ourselves that we see constantly are confronted with. And the moment we don't like what we see in the mirror, we smash it. Wonderful, it doesn't exist anymore. Until the next person comes up and holds the mirror in front of us. And we smash it again, until the end of our life. But it actually does show us, that there is something within ourselves that makes this reaction. And that is the citta that makes the reaction. And that is what is wrong. Not what is happening is wrong. When you look at the world, and I know you don't believe it, but it is perfect as it is. It's completely perfect. The only problem is us. Not the world. It's us who are in problem with the world. Even you say, that is not right, or this is not right. The wars going on are not right, or or men raping women, or men killing other people. That is not right. But it follows the law of karma. So in this sense, it's completely perfect. There's nothing that we cannot change. We cannot change karma. We cannot change the law of karma. What we can do only is changing our reaction towards this karma. That's the only thing we can do. Not following this karma, not our own karma, not worsening our karma, but getting rid of the roots of the karma, of the roots that lead to this kind of karma. That's what we can do. Once we put the karma into motion, no way that we can avoid it. And whatever comes right now, here, at this very moment, is the karma of our past. You can bet on it. It's not something I get treated, humiliating or something like that. When I look at my own life, I know immediately what kind of person I have been. Whatever happens to me, it shows me about my nature, about my characteristics that I used to be. And so I can smile about it. Wow, you must have been a really mean person if you did that to others. Because that comes back to me. And it comes back. Sometimes it comes back within a decade. Sometimes it only comes back within lifetime. But it comes. There's no way that we can avoid our karma. It's like the boomerang we throw, it comes back to us. And if we do not duck, it cuts off our head. And the way to duck is the way to practice. To see it coming, and accepting it, stepping out of the way, finding the root for it and not doing it again. Because if you react towards it, this boomerang will come back and back and back and back and back. Until we deal with it. Of course, this is not easy. The good comes back to us as well. When the good comes back to us, we are happy. When the bad comes back, we run into church. Say, oh Lord, take this thing away from me. Isn't it? But when we win in the lottery, we do not ask the Lord, to take this money away from us.
But I would say thank you to the Lord. If I will.
Yes, so then say thank you, if He takes away all those things. Or if He puts you in prison, then say thank you. Huh? That's a proper attitude for both of the things. Thank you, oh my Lord, that you're going to test me now. And I'm ready for being tested. And I will not go the wrong way. However difficult it is, And when you look at the things that come to us, that we are so afraid of, that we are so worried about, what actually is coming back to us? What? It's a sound? Most of it is a sound, that enters our ears. That's all. But we interpret it as this or that. It's against us or it's for us. It's a sound. You hear so many sounds here in the forest, huh? When you slept the night over here, you hear very different sounds that you probably never heard. And that's all what enters. And you see how your mind reacted? Is this a snake? Is this a scorpion? Does it bite me? When it bites me, see? Or is it a rat? Or is it a tiger or a werewolf or whatever? There used to be tigers here. And Tanaja Man and Tanaja Mahabor actually said when the tigers were here, he didn't want to kick them out. He said, he merely invited them, come over here. You're much a better teacher than I am. Because the people are much more afraid of a tiger than they are afraid of their Achan, of their teacher. So, you don't go to sleep, when you see a tiger running around your kuti. Because you're afraid, your head is buzzing off the morning you wake up. So you sit through all the night, huh? As long as the tiger is still around, you sit through the night. You don't dare, So that is actually the best teacher. But now we don't have any tigers here anymore. It's a pity. It really makes you scary. Even if you hear one, 1 kilometer so far from you. What? Something is reacting within you. A wild boar can be frightening as well, or a bear is even more frightening than a tiger. Because the bear reacts first before he thinks. A tiger is very cautious. He doesn't attack if he's not sure about it. But a bear attacks first, Yeah, I'm not worried. They're as timid as we are. So they attack because of fear. Every animal attacks because of fear or of hunger. But they just make sure, that they get what they want. So we have to raise a few tigers here, I guess, to make you practice a little bit harder. When we think about the practice, and when I talk about the practice, I'm talking about Sila, Samadhi and Panya. That means keeping in the refinement of the Sila, keeping in the confinement of the 5 precepts, or the 8 or 10 precepts, or for us as monks, 227 rules. For the nuns it's 320 or something like that. 311. So that is Sila. We do not go out. The next thing is Samadhi. We train our mind to become one-pointed. Sati and Samadhi are going in tandem. Sati is awareness of what is going on. So when we put our sati on one object, that means the breath, or the word Buddha, the mental repetition of the word Buddha, then our awareness is just with this, with either the breath, or with the Buddha, or with the combination of the breath and the Buddha. Buddha with breathing in and Do with breathing out. And that leads, if we keep on this one-pointedness, that will lead us to one-pointedness. There is no other way around. But if you constantly think about this or think about that, if we go into the past and go into the future, where's the one-pointedness? It will never come. So we have to force this mind. That is a training. When you go and become a soldier, you have to be trained. You don't walk, freely with 20 kilos on your back, or running for 20 kilometers. Not on your own. So you have to be forced to do that. You have to be forced to lie down and get up and lie down and get up. No matter what, no matter where you are. Even if it's wet or muddy, in front of you, you have to lie down. You don't have a choice. So people who know the training of a soldier, they know. They don't have a choice. They just do it. But we think we are so free. When we sit down and meditate, we think about this and think about that. We have a choice, do we? No, we don't have a choice. If we want to enter Samadhi, we don't have a choice. Then keep and stick to that object. So what the hell is preventing you from doing it? Look at your own practice and see what is preventing you from sticking to one-pointedness. The first thing that happens along samadhi, training samadhi, is that the mind enters upachara samadhi, that means access samadhi. When it enters access samadhi, there is no thoughts. In the beginning there might be occasionally one or the other thought, but in the end there will be no thoughts. And we still stick to our Buddha, or we still stick to the breath. The upachara samadhi is a safe haven. That's where the first time in our life we feel we feel comforted, we feel happy. We don't feel any worries. We are not afraid of anything at all. How come? Because we don't think. The only way how to become fearful, how to become afraid, how to become worried is through our thoughts and memories. And if they don't work anymore, or if we still them down, or if we quiet them down, then how can these things arise? There's no way. There's just simply no way. So why don't we do that? That's where the real happiness is. It is there within our own heart. But we need, of course, the method to tear down the wall of avijja in order to enter there. And for that we have to have some patience and persistence. Oh, it sounds all so easy, but the persistence, the determination and the effort, is that what gets us there? The determination and the effort is not to push down the Buddha or push down the breath or change the breath to become subtle. That's not the way. The determination and effort goes, whenever the mind goes out, to bring it back to the one point. And that is the Buddha, or it is the breath. That's where the determination and all our effort goes. And you will see, if you do that just for 2 hours, the mind will revolve. It won't do that. So we have to force it. We have to force it like, we are the lieutenant. Get down and get up. Get down and get up. But there's no lieutenant, The kilesas have taken over. They say, oh no, it's not necessary, no. That is too much. Oh, that's too much. I can't do that anymore. Please give me a break. And yes, of course we say, yes, sure, I need to pee, I need to drink something, I need to eat something. And we get up. And that's the end of our practice. And the next time we do our practice, we get to the same point. And until the kilesas come, you're a good person, you've done enough, yeah? That's how it works. Well, they can come either in suggestions, they can persuade us. They're pretty persuasive, aren't they? Or they can force us. Because then we encounter pain. One of the favorite methods of the kilesa. Pain. But that is too painful. I'm going to break my leg. I'm just sitting half an hour. I'm going to break my leg. You sit in the airplane, flying from Germany to here, in 11 hours, and you're not worried about breaking your back or breaking your leg. You sit in the same position. Huh? But in samadhi, of course, Or when you drive in the car, it's the same thing, huh? Because our goal is that what keeps us up, Listen, are we closer? Are we closer? Are we closer? And you don't even notice the pain. And there is pain, I can assure you. When you sit in the car, when you sit in the airplane, there is pain. But we turn our attention to the music, that comes through the radio, or to the movie that we can watch on the airplane, huh? Or the music we can listen, or the magazines that we can read. So we always put our attention away from what is happening. That's why we don't realize, and that's why we think, the moment we start the practice, oh, that is really painful, I don't need to go through that. Who the hell am I, I don't need to go through that. That is nothing for me, I'm looking for the easy way out. But that is not training. If you would have trained yourself, to learn to walk in that way, you wouldn't be able to walk. And how much pain was there involved, learning to walk? You hit your head, you fall over, you bruised all parts of your body, I can assure you. But we were determined to learn to walk, weren't we? You still can, all of you, you walked at least here. And all of you can speak, can't you? So how long did it take, for training to speak? Because you wanted it, you can do it. So, if you want to do meditation, if you want to do samadhi, you can do it. It's the same thing. Force yourself a little bit. It's just called that means it's just excuses that come. So, and the kilesas are good at excuses, aren't they? Yeah? They excuse everything. They find for everything a reason. Aren't they clever? Everything that we don't want to do, they find a reason. And everything what we want to do, they find a reason for it. That makes it logical, that makes it explainable. But this reason might not be, or most of the time is not within the path of practice. Isn't it wonderful? Yes, it is, because we believe it. So, and when we are then in the Upachara Samadhi, and our thoughts have stopped and our memory has stopped, and there's happiness and there's contentedness, then we can experience the world of phenomena. It is a completely different realm from the realm of the world. You feel like in a safe haven. You still see and you still hear. I mean, you see internally, because we close our eyes. You still hear and you experience. But there's no thoughts that drag us around. And after we experience that for a while, we're going to concentrate even more on our Buddha, or even more on our breath, until the Buddha becomes so rock solid that we can't think one more Buddha anymore. Or our breath becomes so subtle that it disappears. And then we switch to the one who knows that the breath disappears. Or switch to the one who knows that we cannot think anymore. And then we enter one-pointedness. And one-pointedness is nothing else than the deep state of samadhi. In the deep state of samadhi, appana samadhi, is the nibbana, or is the preview of nibbana. It's the nibbana of the ordinary person. So everyone who puts his effort into it can do it. So that means, if you can't do it, you don't put enough effort in. It's not that we can't. Every one of us can walk, every one of us can think, every one of us can speak, and we have learned it for a long time. So it's not that we can't do it, it's just that it's too difficult. It's too difficult to do. That's why we do it, why we give up. Well, if we give up, then we still have to swim in the swamp and never have any fixed ground on our feet. If you like that, and actually the swamp is quite stinking. And it's not always that we are above the water. Most of the time we are under the water, and we have to swallow that water. That dirty mud and stinking mud water. Because we don't have any ground on our feet. So that's why we are cheery. When we come up across, we see, we certainly see certain things, we want to. The moment we reach out, we drown. Because they disappear. Because we're looking only for things that are worldly. We're looking for the gold that is worldly. We see it above the surface, and we reach out for it, the moment we reach it, it drowns. And we drown with it. If we would have a perspective, that is above this world, just like the lotus flower that floats above the mud, or Nibbana that floats above all these worldly things, then we wouldn't be fooled. So the Nibbana that we experience, or the preview of Nibbana that we have in the Appana Samadhi, or in the deep state of Samadhi, it gives us a verification, or gives us a clarification of what is left, of what our true nature is. And that is certainly amazing. And I don't think any one of you will forget it for the rest of your life, even if you only enters it one time. Because what is happening is that everything disappears. The first thing that disappears is our body. It just folds up. It just disappears from our sense of awareness. The next thing is that the whole world, with all the sensory inputs, disappear. And the only thing that is left is the knowingness. The clear, sharp knowingness. And all what we have to do is stick out with our Buddha. That's all. And not let anything interfere with it. And everything that interferes with this Buddha are the kilesas. So if you want to know the power of the kilesas, then you will know them. Everything. Not this thing or that thing. Everything that interferes with our Buddha are the kilesas. Nothing else. It's the power of avijja in the form of the kilesas, of the tentacles of the squid. The fangs of avijja. That's what are the kilesas. And we can see that very clearly in just this instant. In just practicing samadhi, we see the power of the kilesas very clearly. Oh yeah, you have done enough. Now you're tired. It's enough, now you can take a rest. It's a kilesa. A bhikkhu, when he's in his training phase, he doesn't sleep when he's tired. He sleeps when he's not tired. Just to get rid of these kilesas who are sleepiness, who are drowsiness, who are this or who are that. That's the way of a bhikkhu to train. If he has agreed for food, he doesn't take any food. That's the way he trains. If he wants to do that, he doesn't do that. That's the way he trains. He goes against the grain of the kilesas. Whatever the kilesas suggest, he doesn't do. And whatever the kilesas don't want to do, he does. Boy, the kilesas are getting really furious. Because they don't know how to handle you. They don't have any more power. Because their suggestions are not followed. And their things that they don't want to do are all followed. So we turn them upside down, but it doesn't take long, until they adapt to that situation. But for a while, we will see, they don't have so much power over us. That's the way of training. I mean, you're sitting on your cushion, it sounds so easy. Walking Chongrom and sitting Samadhi, we actually do not sit on a cushion. We sit on, we just sit like that. No polster for our nerves and whatever, and bones and in facing pain. Facing all these pleasant things, that we are trying to avoid for all our life until now. Now it's the opportunity to face it. Now it's our time for practice to face it. But it's of course not in line with the kilesas. So they will figure out a way how to get out of this pressure. So now, I'll ask you again, what do you like to be? You like to be the hairs on the fur, or you like to be the horns? If you like to be the horns, then you certainly have to undergo training. And what is the training like? There's a very interesting sutta the Lord Buddha mentions. He compares the training with the taming of a wild elephant and making into the war elephant for the king. You remember that sutta? So the first part is easy. To catch the wild elephant, to bind it to a pole. Yeah, they seem to have some problems with my talk. That's why they react heavily, Probably they don't like to hear something about the kilesas. They're just in the full mood for raga tanha, for their sensual desires. Getting immediate satisfaction. So let's come back to the training. Now when we look at that training, so the first thing the wild elephant is catched and then put to the pole. That is the training of samadhi. So you cannot go out anymore. You cannot go out in thinking and memory. So now when that elephant becomes tame, when it sticks to the pole, then this war elephant is going to be trained. And how is it going to be trained? By putting spears into it, to wound it. And why? So that it doesn't move when it is going to be in battle and it is wounded, so that the king that is on the top of it will not be shaken. It is trained in this way. Are you willing to undergo this kind of training? To be wounded and to stay still. Stay still when the attacks of the kilesas, attacks of lust or attacks of hate come up. Or our attacks of reaction to the things that we do not like or to the things that we like. Are we really up to it? Are we really up to this training? And why do you think? Why do we really think that the Lord Buddha, took this similar and compared it to the similar of training the mind? The war elephant of the king has to die, not in an upheaval, but just goes down. He cannot move. He is not allowed to move. So his training will be very difficult. It will be very hard. In the beginning, only a little piece, little wounds are taken, and then the wounds getting bigger and bigger and bigger until the elephant dies. And it dies quietly. It just cannot break out. And only this kind of practice, will lead to success. And that's where all our difficulties lie. We are willing to tame it, but we are not willing to train it. And if we are not willing to train it, everything just remains the same. The dukkha will remain. The sukha will remain. And we are going from one life to the other. We do not really reflect about what does it mean. Do we know what kind of life we have next life? Are we down in hell? Are we up in heaven, or are we in the human realm? Maybe next life, we will be born as slaves. Do you know that? Does any one of you know what is up in stake? What is up for you? Nothing? We don't know. Well, it has an advantage. We don't worry too much. But it has a disadvantage that we don't do anything. So, I mentioned the sutta just to remind you. I mean, you can choose whatever you want. But the training is, or the Lord Buddha, and he had some wisdom behind it, and he had some intention why he took that simile to compare to the training of a bhikkhu, or to compare to the training of a practitioner. So you will see it will not be easy, and our defense mechanisms are up. The moment we hear it. I don't need to do it, or I have doubt that this is going to lead to freedom. That's a defense mechanism of the kilesa. Isn't it? No, that is nothing for me. Of course it's nothing for me, it's against me. Now compare this training of the war elephant to the other similar. The path of practice is the path of practice of fighting self. And the Lord Buddha compared it also. Yes. Well, he came from the warriors clan, so he used a lot of these warrior expressions. Tanaja Man used the fighting expression as well, and Tanaja Mahabor certainly does. And I certainly do as well. It's a fight. Without a fight, no victory. I mean, we can't buy these things, huh? We can't buy our certificate of freedom. If we could, I wouldn't, I would let you know the way or the booth where you can buy it. I mean, why put you through all this suffering, through all this training? If you could find an easier way out. If I had the power, to give it to you, I would give it to you, but I don't have the power. It's a power that we have to develop within ourselves that we can get the freedom. And it is a fight. It is a fight to the end. Huh? So he compared it, it is easier. He said it is easier to fight as a single person or a whole army than to fight oneself. Huh? So, first of all, who is willing to go against the whole army as a single person? When we see, even if we see just 100, or 2 or 3 or 4, we said that's so much, we can't do that. Now how can we go against ourselves? Huh? That's whatever we believe we are, that's what we are. And whatever we believe we are is made out of 5 components. The body, feeling, memory, association, thoughts and consciousness. That's all, but there is. That's where the I hides. I am the feeling, I am the body, I am the memory. That's my memory. It's not your memory. It's my personal memory. It's my personal thought. That's what we said. Is there anything else? Is there any identity else, that we do not put it within these 5 khandhas? So let's investigate, whatever is I, Okay, there's feeling. There's a feeling. It arises and ceases. How can we be a feeling that constantly arises and ceases and changes? How can we be a thought, that arises and ceases? How can we be a memory that arises and ceases? Especially most of the things that arise and cease, we don't want them. So if it's us, if it's my cup, I can do whatever I want to do with my cup. I can smash it, I can drink it, I can use it. I can put it down, I can put it up. But we cannot. With the thoughts, with the memory, with the feeling, with the body, we cannot. Can you change your body? I'm sure you want a white skin, Can you change it to be a white skin? And other people want to have a red skin. Or yellow skin. Or black hair, or white hair, Can we change it? No. So it's not us. It cannot be us, Everything that is us, we can change it. The thought that comes, is it us? But we believe it. It's us. Especially thoughts and especially memories. But how many memories are coming, that you really want? And if you really want to come a memory, if you really want to remember, it doesn't come anymore. So you're not in control of these things. Get it right. You're not in control. You have no control over these 5 khandhas. But you still claim that it's you. How can you, I need to do this, I need to do that. I need to read a letter, I need to write a letter. Who is that telling you? I need to practice, that is the right effort. I need to sit, as long as I can. I need to walk until I fall over. That's the right effort. That's the Dhamma within us. Everything else is the kilesas. Let me take a break, I'm so tired, my back hurts, let me take, just lie down, I'm doing lying down meditation. When you lie down, you fall fast asleep. So what are the spares that the elephant is trained with? That are the attacks that come from outside. So we have to investigate. Like the elephant first has to stand still. He has to bear the pain. He is not allowed to react. When he reacts, he's going to be beaten up. And the next time, the spear is coming in, he will know if he reacts, he's going to be beaten up, so he might not react. So it's a long training. We are not allowed to react to the feeling or to the memory or to the thought that is coming. We have to bear it, we have to see it, what is coming. And we have to understand it. What is the reason for it to arise? That's investigation, that's developing wisdom. Wisdom and knowledge are 2 different things. Knowledge we can gain through reading and through hearing and through talking. Wisdom doesn't arise within our brains. Wisdom arises only when the heart is open. And it is not open. We have to force it open. What is preventing it for entering the heart or entering the citta? It's the wall of avijja, or the wall of kilesas that we see. So we need to find a way, how to get through to this wall and to our heart to understand. And that in our heart or in our citta, only. That's where will wisdom arise. And the wisdom has a quality that is different from knowledge. It has a quality that it cannot be doubted. Once you are in Appana Samadhi, whatever you are, you experience Appana Samadhi, whatever other people say about it, it is either it is or it is not. Because you experience it for yourself. Or in better terms, in things that we all know. If you put your hand in the fire and you know that it burns, and you know what the feeling is, you know what the experience is, and then somebody else comes up to you and says the fire is cold. You just smile, You don't even say anything against it, because you know. And that is wisdom. You know. And that is the true nature of our citta, to know. But we misunderstand and try to get the knowledge through our brain, through our thinking, through our memories. That's where we get the knowledge, and we confuse it with wisdom. But it has nothing to do with wisdom. Wisdom is based on the ability to the citta to see through. That's where wisdom arises. To let the heart to go or to take a problem into the heart. And that means, to go through the wall of the kilesas. And then, to go through the wall of our kilesas. The first thing is coming doubt, Oh. Maybe, or maybe not, So, that pulls it off, You don't even get into it. Or that is nothing for me. It's another one. It pulls it off. So we don't get even into the close to the heart. If you would just listen, if you would just do, what I say, Or at least if you put all your effort into it. I mean, some people, I don't know how they do it, they just listen and do it, and within 3 months, they get results they never dreamed of. But others, they listen and say, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe this is right. Maybe this is not right. Maybe it doesn't belong, maybe it's not right for me. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe there's another teacher who tells me something else. And that's why we don't get any results, I mean, look for a teacher, you trust her, and then just go ahead and do what he says, That's the way, that the Lord Buddha also in the Kusala, in the Sutta of Kalamaya, said. You test him out, If you see it leads to good, then, stick to it. If you see it doesn't lead to good, then just, abandon him. But you have to do it. But no. That might not be. No, this is not right, That doesn't sound right, I heard something else, And the more I heard, the more I'm confused. And I'm not just willing to do it. So actually for me, it is a joy if people are coming who have not no whatsoever idea about what is practice. That is the best people, they can be trained in. Most of them, get pretty fair, pretty soon, good results. Because they just listen and do. Don't take the price so high, tomorrow I'll scold you. I mean, we do really. There are some people, who take it on, and they get pretty fast results because they just do it. Praise and blame, Tanachan used it as well. He praised it because, to get his ego out. And once he got his ego out, he smashed his head off. It's like a turtle, when it is, you feed it with some food, it likes it, it's not, and puts its head out. Once its head out, cut it off. It's a way of training. And most of us, who don't have the wisdom, to see Nibbana or the path to Nibbana clearly, They do need a teacher. That's what it all boils down to. Somebody who knows, who knows through his own experience what the path is and what the path is not. What is helpful on the path and what is not helpful on the path. All what we have to do, is just listen and trust him. But no, the trust, especially we come from the West. Well, it's our history as well. Let us not trust. Who is he? Who is he? That's the first question. Who is he? How can he say these things? Does he think he's better than me? Oh, typical Western reaction. Or finding fault. That's not right what he said. That's not right what he said. And that is the perfect wall of the Kilesas. They block off everything that hurts them. With these arguments, they block off everything that hurts them. Or that might endanger their thickness of the wall. Nice, isn't it? So I close now my talk, but I want you to reflect very carefully on the three similes I've given. The simile of taming the wild elephant. Fighting against it. What was the other? What was the third? Got it all right. I mean, ask yourself, what are you wanting? Do you really want to swim in mud or in the swamp area, never having any foot under your ground? And you only want to look for the worldly things, that glitter up at the surface of the water. The moment you reach them, they disappear. That's the law of anicca. They all disappear. Whenever we caught them, they disappear. And we want the next. We see the next glittering. And there are lots of glittering things in this world. Or do we want something, that swims above the water? Like a lotus flower or nibbana. That is the only thing that can lead us. Our perspective, our constant view, our every day, every minute, every second view. That there is something, greater than us. That's what we want. Then we can attain it. If you do not have the right perspective, you cannot attain it. It's just like in the world. If we want to get our master, then we have to study for 4 or 6 years. There's no way around it. Well, if we are smart, we can do it in 3 years. If we're not smart, we need 8 years. Whatever. But the perspective is to get the master degree. So our perspective is to get Nibbana, or to get a stream entry, or Sakadagami, or Anagami, or Arahat. That must be our perspective, a perspective that leads us out, not a perspective that holds us there. The first time, we have really ground under our feet is when we enter the stream. That means that is the way out. I don't mind if you rest then. But before that, there is no rest. You cannot take a rest. Because you're swimming and drowning all the time. Swimming and drowning all the time. Going up and going down. Just like in a roller coaster. And it's so fun, we all do these things, don't we? You like roller coasters? You see how the people, are excited, how they actually, they are more excited when it goes down. When it goes down to hell, they are more excited. And when it goes up, because up is slowly, And it costs a lot of work, it costs a lot of effort, to go up. When you walk up a mountain, it takes much more effort than to go roll down. And the path of practice is going up to the mountain and seeing. Huh? That is the only reason why we climb a mountain, to see what is there. As long as we are we are in a valley and we just see, the foot of the mountain. Or the sky, that is above us. We don't even know what is behind that valley. Have not the slightest idea. But we are ready to doubt, if somebody tells us something, we are ready to doubt. That cannot be. This I don't believe. This I don't believe. That I don't believe. That's not right, that is not my understanding. And that is the first big problem when we start practicing. We have to listen to somebody. We have to entrust ourselves to somebody. And it is the best cure, to get rid of ourselves if we can entrust ourselves to somebody. Let him take care of them. Because we don't know, we are afraid, whatever we do, maybe it is the kilesas who put us in the wrong direction. We don't know. Because we cannot distinguish it. Yet we cannot distinguish. The first time we can distinguish when we are entering the stream. What is Dhamma and what is kilesa? Before that we hardly can. We cannot distinguish what is Dhamma and what is kilesa. There's no way. Because we haven't seen the truth. The first time we have seen the truth makes us free. Isn't it the same? Yeah, actually it is. See the truth and the truth makes you free. And that's the first time when we enter Sotapanna, when we enter the stream. That's the first time when we see the truth. So then we will know what is the truth and what is the kilesa. Before that we have to entrust ourselves to a person who knows it. So don't pick the wrong person. Don't entrust yourself to the wrong person. There are so many false teachers of Dhamma in this world. And there's only a handful of people, or maybe 2 handful of people, who know the truth. And now, I do end my talk.